how do you walk the line between urgency and panic? I know in your job it's never panic, but in terms of, outside, people look at and say, oh, things didn't go well, so let's just change everything. How do you work that as a coach with your unit and going into a second game?
First off, you have to have the discipline to ignore the noise, and that's real. Good or bad, doesn't matter. Stay the course, especially at our position. So week 1 to week 2 across the NFL, it's an opportunity to show your growth and improvement. Clearly, we can do that, and the guys are excited about that opportunity. Really, we are. So. I really don't know if the sky is falling and there's panic. I only know what we have to do and what our job is.
What did you make of watching the film and what you saw?
Yeah, like anything, it's pretty obvious. There's things to improve on. We'll get out there and we'll do it. It's a good opportunity this week against a really good front versus Dallas. So there's no crying and over spilled milk. You got to move on and go play.
A lot of people talk about Andrew's absence. How has he looked to you in what he was able to do yesterday?
Yeah, it's nice to have him out there and work on it. I'll let Daves and Andrew talk about where his status is and where he's at. But tremendous football player, and when he gets back, we'll be excited to have him.
Carmen, what's the key to picking up a stunt?
You're saying a run stunt or a pass stunt?
Sorry, pass.
A pass pro stunt. First thing, as we talk about, would be your individual technique. So setting the guy with the proper leverage, with your proper posture, and then, meeting him with force. If he's making an inside move and he's going up the field and reacting, as he's the looper. So, but it's always about your individual technique first.
Is that you hear sometimes coaches will talk about with cover zero, where until you prove you can stop it, you're just going to see it over and over and over again on the offensive side of the ball. Is stunt something you guys kind of think with some of the struggles week 1 with that it could be coming more and more with
I don't think you'll see an uptick in it any more or less based upon what the opponent is or what the other was. They'll have a rush plan for us, I'm certain. They've talked about it in the media. Russ is an elusive guy, can run. So you just worry about yourself and your own individual technique, and then it handles itself.
You think running the ball more early and effectively would be an ideal way to get your line into a game on Sunday?
I just want to do whatever we got to do to make sure we win. Whether we run the ball 10 times, 100 times, 0 times, truly. Last week is last week. Our guys have leaned into this week. You can't worry too much about last week. It's in the past, and our guys have done that. And the fact they came in, they looked at the film, all of us as coaches and players, and got excited about going to play a division opponent on the road. You can't worry about last week in the sense of getting ready for Dallas. This is as good a front as there is in the league when you talk about the guys that they have, and they're playing with a lot of confidence, and that's a challenge that you can't worry about what happened last week.
I didn't mean anything about last week. I meant for O linemen, does running the ball well get you into a game more as a group?
I think running the ball well keeps you ahead of the sticks, which then helps you, stay out of get back on track in 2nd and 10. You run the ball well, then you have your full offense on 2nd down, going into 3rd down. It gives it 3rd and manageable. I don't know necessarily about a rhythm for the offensive line.
Gotcha.
That's real.
It's a better question for him directly, but with Bo, getting him in there for a handful of snaps, the way you guys did, from what you saw, does it help a rookie in that setting last week feel more comfortable moving forward in terms of?
I think that might be able to ease something for a young player. I think not even so much the reps, but just about concentrating on the process. The preseason helps with that as well, of just getting your mindset that I'm going to go play a football game in the NFL. What my pregame routine is, do I go out and warm up with the coaches? Do I go up and warm out by myself? What do I eat? When do I go this? How do I tape that? So the whole process, so just getting prepared to go play a game. And of course, being a guy that's right there, one injury away from playing, for him, he's got to have that mindset. So it's all counts for something.
Have you seen that mindset this week in practice because of that, or was it there last week anyway?
Yeah, no, I haven't seen any difference or change to that. He's thus far been a pro's pro. He's fitting in well to the room and just kind of keep getting better.
Sometimes you get so anxious to make a play, you feel all the space, you kind of take your eyes off of it. So I think those are just 2 things that we've worked on this week, and hopefully we're able to make an improvement there.
With Daniel Bellinger, what does he have to do to get more playing time?
sometimes just how the game shakes out. He's doing everything we asked. He played physical. You saw him on a couple of those cuts where he came back and really hammered those defensive ends. Made a play in the pass game when the ball found him. So I think he had about 15. Obviously, we would like to have more shots on goal and be able to have more chances to get him in the game. But he's doing a really good job of doing everything that we're asking him to do.
With Theo, it seems like I have seen some very limited sample size.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like when there's a drop early, it kind of spirals, and
then when he starts well, it kind
play
of
on the cross that got called back on the hold. So I don't disagree with that. I think that's still part of being a young player and learning that you got to find a way, whether it's good or bad, to recalibrate and get everything back to neutral in between plays. So there's about
the question to you is how do you
talk to him, continue to build a relationship with them, continue to kind of understand how people tick, what buttons to push, and some of it is just kind of being able to remove yourself from the situation and be able to take a deep breath and go. I just based upon, again, that cross that he caught, he played well in the run game, so I don't think it was as much of a snowball, as it probably felt on the field and as I felt it was live also. But going back and watch it, I thought he did a good job of being able to snap back to it, and he did make a good play on that one cross. So.
With Manhurst, he's a guy who's obviously never going to show up in the box score, and it's easy to say, he's a blocker, but what is it about him that makes him valuable in that role for you guys?
Yeah, he's got an ability to block any type of run scheme. He's got very good athleticism for a man his size. He's strong, so you can really utilize him in a lot of different ways, and he works at it. I mean, he's in terms of what you want a pro to look like that's it. He's studying, he works, he's working his techniques, during individual, during the defensive drills, he's over there getting the extra work. So, but his versatility and being able to run different schemes and be efficient in those things are very valuable.
Because for a guy like him to play that position, his career probably has a handful of catches. It feels he's that much more, that much superior to most other tight ends just on the blocking end. That he's year 11.
Yeah, he's from the guys that I've been around, he's up there, you know what I mean? Again, just his ability to do multiple things and be physical. And, a lot of times when you get those bigger guys, they may not have the ability to run a certain scheme, or may not have the quickness to reach somebody, where I don't think that's the case with Chris. So and again, you love the person, the way that he works, the presence he provides for us on, in the huddle, in the meeting room, on the sideline, is invaluable.
I thought the guys played hard. I was really impressed with that. I thought our detail at the end needs to be and continue to get better. Guys starting to learn each other, understand their roles for us to get to where we need to get to be great. So I really was encouraged by it.
How much was your coverage package and menu affected by Daniel's scrambling ability? Does that limit what you can do back there because of what he can do?
That's the other side of it, because it's basically unscripted plays. I think that's the hardest part, is unscripted plays and guys trying to get open. But just from that perspective, it changes how you have the game plan when you play guys, mobile quarterbacks. Any mobile quarterbacks, you have to be mindful of it.
What are the challenges this week? A little bit different. You got those two big wide receivers, more of a pocket passer.
I'm glad you said it that way. I'm glad you said it that way. The very first one, all respect, that's a very explosive offense. When you look at it, it's very explosive, and I'm not window dressing it. I've went against both of those guys at different times. To have them both combine together, and their running game is tough. That comes back as the leader, so now the organizer is there. So we got our work cut out. We got to take it one quarter and one play at a time, because it's the number one thing you understand is 88 is going to touch the ball.
A lot.
And three is going to want it. So I think just from that standpoint, it's a real challenge. I always looked at it from everybody that I either played against or coached against, when you went against those guys, when the greatest show on turf and all those things, when you go through that and understanding that you got to have that high regard for it and understand that it's going to be a competitive down. And they're going to win some, but you got to understand it's going to be a competitive down all the way to the end of the game. So we're excited about it, man.
How does Dak elevate those two?
When you get up there, you watch him at the line of scrimmage. Like, he does everything. Like, the coolest part about what you watch with Dak is he's part of that little regime that came in, the Phillip Rivers and those guys. Like, that come in, understand the offense, understand every increment of the offense, and know how to actually process it when you go out there on the field. So we got our work cut out from that standpoint. And being precise. He's precise. We played him a couple years ago when I was with the Jets. We played him. Same thing, being precise. So we just got to make sure that we go out and execute, know that you got to understand that he's going to make his, and we got to make sure that we limit him on those.
And he's going to just put the ball in there, right? Even if it's tight coverage, like some of those seam routes he tries to squeeze in there, like he's very aggressive down the field, no?
He is very aggressive. He's Dak. And that's the thing I tell everybody, and don't get it twisted. He's still mobile. He is still mobile. And so we just got to get prepared. Understanding our positioning and timing and the situations in the game, and understanding that we know that we have to do a great job of minimizing them, especially early on first and second down.
How'd you think Flott did getting most of the starting reps in week one?
I thought both of them played well. I thought both played well, honestly. And when I say play well, our standard is getting victory. And the standard of excellence is what we play to, and I tell you guys that from the very first time that we talked. And he had his plays, and understand that that's week one. Put week one in the first quarter exactly that, and what can we learn from it on both sides. And I thought both of those guys did that really well.
Do you give Flott like a half a sack when he blew up the screen so Burns can get in there? Like, do you give him a little something for that or no?
You know what? That was one of those plays that you tell a guy, like, I would never take the football player and your instincts and awareness out of you. But it was a good job by him. But I thought Tay did a great job when he went in on third downs and played man-to-man against those guys. Like, we got a great group of guys. This is a really fun group to coach. I'm going to be honest, man. It's a really fun group to coach. I done been some everywhere, but it's a funny group to coach.
Did you find a good balance of when Tay would go in and when Flott would stay in, and kind of how you work that rotation?
We had a game plan. We had a game. Sometimes it don't always go accordingly. You know, it goes unscripted, just like the quarterback when he gets out the pocket. But we kind of stuck to that game plan for the most part, and looking forward to what we're going to do next with it.
What makes him such a hard group to coach?
You got different personalities. You got the veterans now. When I was in the league, 8 years, 9 years, a veteran. Now, 5 years, you're a veteran. But no, the veterans, the Debo seen everything. Holland has seen everything. And I'm just adding to the point of two things with them, giving them a life that I've already lived in these last 22 years. And giving them that to now go out there and live it and give it to the young guys. So you have him, and you got Tay, who's a young one, and Flotts, who's a mature one, who's a little bit older than they are. Then you got Dane. Then you got, I could go through the whole list of all of them. And I say it every day when I come in, when you're a leader of men, you understand exactly who they are. And that's where you meet them, where they are, to get them where we need to get them. So I'm excited moving forward.
Thank you.
Paulson, obviously the Saints didn't really have him traveling with the number one receiver all over the field in the past. He did that a lot last week against Terry McLaurin. How do you think he handled that and looked?
I thought he did a good job on the game plan. Same thing that we used to do with Ahmad. Like, we didn't have him do it all the time if it wasn't part of the game plan. There's other ways that you can do different things in the game plan, but I thought he didn't complain or whine or do anything like that. He was an ultimate teammate, down in and down out, and he battled for the whole 60 minutes that we were playing in our first warfare. So it was really exciting.
What does Darius Alexander need to show to just get a jersey on Sunday?
You just keep improving. That's all. I mean, he's doing a good job. He's getting better every single day, and he's going to be a really good football player for us. There's no doubt in my mind about it. But I'm going to put him on the field when he's ready to go perform. And it's nothing bad against him. There's nothing to say that he's not what we thought he was going to be. You know, he's a rookie, and the NFL is different than college football. And you have to learn how to play this game. He goes out here every day and he busts his tail to master the technique, and he's going to be a great football player. And I'm just making sure that he's the player that we all want him to be. And the worst thing I can do is put him on the field before he's ready to be that. I'm not going to ruin that kid because he's got great upside to him. And he works hard in my meeting. He busts his tail every day, and it's going to happen for him.
What does he need to improve on the field?
Everything.
In your mind?
Everything. You know, and like I said, it's no different. I mean, you got first-round picks, D tackles in this league that are not playing. You know, every year we get a list from the NFL that shows every position in the league and what round they were drafted in and what their percentage of play was for the season. And the lowest group is D tackle and offensive line because the game is so different. So, we just have to be patient and let him develop, let him bloom. Let him bloom. And if we let him bloom, we're going to have a beautiful flower. And that's my job to make sure that happens.
How hard is that, Trey? I mean, to have that patience, maybe not for you individually, but for the group, for the individual player. I mean, I'm sure he was excited.
Yeah, it's hard for the individual player. And it can be hard for people upstairs too, right? But I've been doing this a long time, and I've been blessed enough to develop some great players, and I know how it works. And so I'm going to stick to my guns on that because I know it's the best thing for him. But most importantly, it's the best thing for the New York Giants, to let this guy become what I know he's going to become. And I know that because of how hard he works at it, how important it is for him, and how much improvement I've seen from him.
I know it's a long time ago now, but how much did basically missing the spring set him back, do you think?
Oh, I think it did some because, during the spring is when we work on all those little fine things. And, you take blocks on differently. You use your hands differently in the run game. Things you're able to get away with as a pass rusher in college football, you can't get away with in this league. So those things are a lot of things that we were able to work on in the spring that he didn't get a chance to do. So it played a part, but it didn't play a major part. I knew it was going to happen. It's happened with every single rookie I've had. I mean, Danielle Hunter is one of the best pass rushers in the National Football League. He may be one of the best pass rushers of all time. He didn't play the first 5 games when I had him in Minnesota. He didn't play the first 5 games. But when he hit the field, when he finally hit the field, he became a guy. And that's all I'm trying to do. And that's what I explained to the young man. And he understands that he wants to play. But he understands what we're trying to do.
Do you anticipate this being that he needs several more weeks until he's ready? Or?
I don't know it when I see it. You know what I mean? I don't know it when I see it. And the funny thing about it? The other guys in the room will know it when they see it too. And we're starting to see it. So it's going to happen.
What did you think of your group's performance on Sunday?
I think we can play better, and I always feel that. I think we can play better. Anytime they rush for that many yards, which is a team defensive thing. We can play better, and that's what week 1 and every week is like in the National Football League. And you come back and you work on the things you need to improve on, and you kick it off again on Sunday, and hopefully we improve on those things when we play on Sunday and we play better.
It was obviously kind of a slow ramp up with Dex coming back. Where do you think he's at just conditioning wise and being ready to play at the same level for as many snaps as he's done in the past?
I think he played, was it 49?
Like 70%. It was like
he played a good number of plays on Sunday. Honestly, he played more plays than I thought I would play him going into the game. He looked like Dex. I think his timing is getting better every week. And I tell him all the time, playing D-line in the NFL is not like riding a bike. I probably haven't ridden a bike in 25 years, but I know I could get on one and ride it. But playing D-line in the NFL is not like that. There's a rhythm to this game. There's a rhythm of a feel of when to get off a block on the run. How do I feel that it's truly a double team or it's a power scoop? There's a rhythm to know when to come off on your rush. And that timing takes rep after rep after rep. And, I see it happening. He looked like himself yesterday in practice. And, but he played way more plays than I thought he would play, and he did a good job. He looked like Dex.
From a different perspective, it kind of like what you were talking about with Darius. You could selfishly say, well, he's Dex, so I'm just going to put him out there for every snap that we got and just go with it. Right. So that patience also factors in, I would imagine, with a guy like Dex.
I can't let my emotion get involved. I know I got the best D tackle in the league, and you get into the heat of the battle and you want him out there, right? But you're trying to do what's best for the long haul. This is a marathon. The season's a marathon, and you're trying to do the best for him as well as the best for the organization. And the worst thing I could have done for him is to put him out there 70-something plays. And, it just wouldn't have been fair for him do that.
I know he's not, technically in your room, but when you see Abdul rush from the inside, I mean, how rare is the bend he makes centers and guards deal with? Just because you're obviously watching that part of the field all the time.
Oh, it's unique. He's got a unique skill set. He has a natural feel of where to finish the rush off. Obviously, he's explosive and quick. He can make violent moves. And I think the number one thing is he feels comfortable lining up in there. A lot of edge rushers don't feel comfortable lining up in the black hole. And but he does. And the thing about it is he's only going to get better. This is the beginning for him. He's not a Picasso already. It's starting to become that, but he's not. And I know everybody's trying to make him that already, but he's not. Right? He understands that. He's still got work to do to get better, and that's what we got to make happen. If we relax and say he's already that guy, then he's not going to become what he can become. We got to make him understand, and he does this, but we have to understand that he has to continue to work and grind and grind and grind, and his game will go to a whole nother level. Is he a good player now? He's a good player now. But if he keeps working, he could be a great player. And that's what it's all about, is to get him to the point to where he can become a great player. Because there's more to his game than what you see right now.
We haven't spoken to you since cut day, so I think Elijah Chapman getting cut was probably one of the bigger surprises. Just what went into that decision? What didn't he show that to get a spot again?
Well, I don't think it's anything that he didn't show. I think Joe and Daves were trying to put the best combination of players on our roster. You know what I mean? It had nothing to do with what Chad did wrong or how he did not succeed. He had a good camp. He did some great things for me. Obviously, he did some great things playing fullback of an offense. But sometimes you're trying to put the roster together the best way you can. That's best for the whole team, for the team to succeed. And that's what it was all about.
What did you see from Russ when you watched the film?
So obviously good. Things we would like back. Kind of like any game. Some things kind of, you're doing in the offense for the first time, so go back, clean those up, and then saw a guy who was aggressive, tried to throw the ball down the field and take us down the field to score. Score in the red zone, and we're happy.
I think the last time we talked to you, you talked about, you guys knew once the regular season came, it was going to be different in the room. Mm-hmm. Guys are, you're almost on several different paths, but just curious for when Daves was telling us the other day about Jackson, like a lot of the running through the script after practice, and those guys kind of handle themselves almost like a captain's practice, so to speak. Mm-hmm. How does that work in the room? Like, how is there stuff that the other two guys with Jamison, especially Jackson, have to handle on their own versus what is actually going in line with what you guys are trying to do?
Well, yeah, I'd say that it is definitely, on them to do some extra work and all that, but we have a really good plan for it, and we talk about it before we go out there, and Chad Hall stays out there with them and works with them. We film it so we can go back and watch it and talk about it. So it's not like, we're sending them out there blind or anything like that, but for sure there's an element of them having ownership of it, of preparing like they're the starter even though they're not, both of them, Jamison and Jackson, and we have a plan for both of them during practice. One guy's focusing on it after practice, another guy's focusing on it. So it's definitely a detailed and structured thing. But if there's something they want to get another one at, that's where the flexibility comes in for them to say, hey, I need this again, or I want to do this again just to feel comfortable with it. So I think there's a give and a take there. But Chad does a great job of staying out there with them, working with them, and then we come up and watch it as well.
Gotcha.
What have you seen? We've heard Jackson's got 1 or 2 reps with the first team. What does he look like when he's in there with the first team?
Yeah, he's looked good, comfortable. Can't remember if it was a run or a pass when he did it, but he operated it, did what he needed to do. Just again, so it's not the first time you're in there in an actual, calling it off of a game wristband and things like that. Go get the experience, and he did what he needed to do with it.
I think you talked the last time we spoke just about he looked confident and poised in the pocket during the preseason, and it was just his eyes downfield. How do you see that translate to the regular season? Like, if a guy's able to do that in the preseason, like what that looks like if he gets regular season action?
Yeah, I think that's your best barometer of seeing it in the preseason, because that's, never want to hit the quarterback in practice. As a quarterback coach, I really believe in that, so we don't get anybody hurt unnecessarily. But no, it looked like, you know, in a game environment, he would keep his eyes downfield and go through his progressions, and I think it'll translate well. That's what we have to go off of.
How do you coach up the waiting aspect of it for him? I mean, he talked about at the end of the preseason there was change of perspective, and now you're one game in. As far as, you know, all right, this is what the week is like, but we want you to focus on X, Y, and Z and be ready, because it's the first time for him in a while to have to deal with it this way. So how do you coach that up?
I think it's like, I don't think it's any different than anybody you have as the backup. You're always preparing them. Like I said, you're a chin strap away from going in. So I don't think it changes at all. I think it's the same thing, whether it's a year 1 guy or a year 10 guy as the backup. Obviously, like the year 1 guy, there are some different things as far as getting into the routine and understanding how the install goes. It's a little different, but just as far as the time you put in and the questions you ask and the detail you do it with, that all remains the same.
You spend so much time building a relationship with all your guys, but also when it's the rookie, it's the young guy, you got to kind of take his temperature a little bit. Just curious, from what you saw, you know, week 1, first week in the NFL, what have you seen from Jackson? What's kind of been his mentality?
I mean, nothing different. You know, just kind of asked him what he saw, you know, how I felt like it went. But that's no different than any conversation I've had with all of them. I'd say for the last few years here too, like even going back to just throughout the time here in the quarterback room, what I've always tried to do is just get everybody on the same page by how they see it. And it's valuable information that, as long as, you know, it was seen the same way through Jameis's eyes or Jackson's during the game, because then if they do have to go play, I already know. I've kind of already talked to them about it. So I wouldn't say it's different. It's the same thing with Jackson. Even in the preseason, when he was in, I was asking Russ and Jameis what they saw and how they thought about it. And when Jameis was in, Russ and Jackson, same thing. So,
is there anything different when you're dealing with a rookie? I mean,
there is with the routine and showing them how to be a pro. But again, part of the reason, you know, we drafted him is because we knew his personality. We liked his personality. We knew the traits that we liked. So it's more so about just making sure they're preparing the right way, making sure they're going through the routine the right way, getting around Russ and Jameis and understanding how the difference is between college and the NFL. I think that's the main difference. But other than that, you got to let him be him.
Gotcha.
So did you, I mean, caveat that players are different, but when you were in Buffalo, Josh's rookie season, what did you take from that process? Obviously it came in sooner than I think you guys wanted to, but of, I guess, bringing to now Jackson.
Yeah, I think the main thing is, like you said, everything is, it's so different just because, you know, the dynamic of the room comes into play. Like, who else is in there? How has he played in the preseason? How has he taken the information? Jackson's done a great job of learning the system, working hard at it, you know, taking his cues from Russ and Jameis in the right way. So I think there's similarities with that, but there's, I would say, a pretty big difference in that, you know, it was also our first year in Buffalo. As far as Dave's and I of installing the system, we're kind of in year 4 here of the system. So there's guys around him who, you know, have some knowledge, whereas everybody was kind of on the same playing field of the system. So there's big differences in that, I'd say, as far as how you can, you know, put things in, because some other guys around him might be more comfortable with what's going on.